Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game So I got a fun and interesting video for you guys today because I'm doing an early review of the Angry Video Game Nerd 8-Bit. This was sent over from MegaCat Studios. They gave me a pre-release code to review, but just so you know, I'm under no preconditions to say anything whatsoever that I don't want to say. But this is going to be a really interesting video, so strap in. Let's take a look at what's going on in the game. Now right off the top, it should be pretty obvious. This is using an 8-bit aesthetic, and it definitely feels like a Mega Man game from start to finish. I mean that in a nice way because obviously Mega Man is an amazing franchise, so kind of emulating that in your own game definitely makes sense. And as far as the difficulty is concerned, it is classic 8-bit difficulty in that Mega Man style, which is to say you're going to be dying a lot. You're going to have to memorize a lot of what's going on in this game if you're ever going to want to actually see any of the bosses and be able to beat the thing. Now obviously this game is going to be more appealing to people that are into the Angry Video Game Nerd, so it's one of those things that is based on that property, and obviously James Rolfe has that particular character that they use when it comes to talking about games. So a lot of what you're going to be playing here, if you're familiar with some of those episodes, might ring a little bit more interesting than if you're just playing the game at face value. But the nice thing is you really don't need to know much about AVGN if you just want to play a really fun 8-bit style Mega Man shooter, and I think that really is a smart thing. Now this game being out on October 23rd definitely has a horror vibe going on to it. The 6 levels that I played here, I'll have some sort of horror aesthetic, whether it's kind of hard horror, hewing towards more like that actual slasher film, or some other genres as well. And these are all at least in part based on different NES games from back in the day that would have been reviewed on the actual Angry Video Game Nerd show. But I will say the side-scrolling area here, with that little bit of parallax and the moon in the background, really does hit as far as making it feel like an 8-bit game. You'll see I did leave up the wallpaper on the left and right how you're going to play it, but in just a moment I'm going to remove that because honestly I prefer just having black to the left and right. So getting into the gameplay elements, the overall storyline, there's going to be just enough here for you to understand what it is you're doing, but a lot of the story is going to come in the beginning of the game with some cut sequences or videos that you're going to see actually setting up the storyline of the game. But the good thing is here, the actual gameplay on offer is straight up fun, and that's kind of the thing when you have a video game based upon any sort of licensed property, let alone a YouTube channel. You have to think to yourself, was the game made just to kind of have a gag at what AVGN does, or is the game actually going to be a fun, competent thing to play on its own? The good thing I will say right now is this game definitely has all of that 8-bit competency. The shooting, the platforming, the challenge here definitely is just hitting. And if you do love Mega Man, this is definitely the type of game that you're really going to enjoy, from the sliding to the shooting to the overall straight up difficulty. Now I'm just playing this on normal, and even then it was handing me my ass here and there, just in some of the areas where I couldn't really figure out how to progress because there were so many different projectiles coming at me at once. But that is the thing in this genre, it does not hold your hand, and I appreciate that they've gone for that classic 80s difficulty. And I love grains and groans here. I'm sure you're going to know exactly what game that is based off of. This is a little bit of a ghouls and ghosts level right here, and it is fun, just the overall moveset, basically fighting this boss, but they're using an RPG style attack system while we're just platforming, trying to avoid the projectiles and hit the boss at the same time. There's a lot of patterns in this game on the bosses, just like in a Mega Man game, and once you learn them and memorize them, you're going to realize that they aren't that hard, but the first time you see them definitely is going to give you some challenge. And that is something I want out of my classic retro style games that are made in the modern era. People play these not just for the visual aesthetic, they play them for the difficulty and challenge, and that's definitely being delivered here. And I didn't try easy mode, but I did briefly try hard mode, and I will tell you, wasn't getting a lot of footage off that one because I kept dying over and over again. But if you like that hardcore difficulty, this one is going to deliver for you. And you'll see here we have these platforms as well, just like in Mega Man. You're only able to stand on them for a few frames, and then they're going to basically fade out and you're going to drop through the floor. So timing is definitely going to be paramount in AVGN 8-bit, but I love that tight, concise platforming. If you're wondering what platforms is going to be out, pun intended, for platforming, it's going to be on everything, including an NES version in the future, which will be fun to take a look at. But if soundtrack sample one time right now, go ahead and listen to the music, and I'll be right back with a lot more of the game. mean, the soundtrack definitely works because it sounds like an NES 8-bit chiptune track along with a Mega Man Lost track, and that's definitely the vibe I'm getting off the game in and of itself. And I love these sprites here, kind of feel like there's something out of Cheetah Man mixed in with some Battletoads as well. But I'm going to give you an example of the story as well as the voiceover and the live acting, because that is a lot of the vibe here. So go ahead and listen, and I'll be right back with a lot more gameplay.
Oh, what in this shitload of fuck? Fuckers! Super Mecha Death Christ version 4.0 beta, bitch! Fuckers! Let me clue you in real quick. This fucker was built by cavemen, upgraded by Nazis, rebooted by the US military, and eventually reprogrammed by Satan. A screaming, rocket-launching messiah with laser eyes and a limited vocabulary, he's basically a holy rolling Robocop with a potty mouth. Now hold on a goddamn second here. You're supposed to be on my side. We sent Satan's sorry ass back to hell. We saved the world like a couple of badasses. Don't you remember?
I mean, now you know what you're dealing with when it comes to the storyline of Angry Video Game Nerd 8, but if you have seen episodes on YouTube, then that's not going to be surprising whatsoever. And I will say, in a lot of ways, it kind of feels like an Adult Swim skit long before Adult Swim was really getting huge, back when it was basically just Space Ghost Coast to Coast, where they would actually show those episodes after Cartoon Network would go off the air for the evening. So it is one of those things. If the Angry Video Game Nerd YouTube channel doesn't do it for you, then honestly this game could still be worth playing for the Mega Man aesthetic, but you're not going to find the charm in the overall story and all those different video sequences, and with a lot of the different fun little weird cheap effects in those videos, as well as what the NES looks like when it's actually possessed. I will leave that to the retail version though, because it's hilarious. I get like a 20% Pee-wee's Playhouse Paul Rubens vibe, where it's just kind of playing up that man-child aesthetic with a lot of those weird janky props that were intentionally designed to be that way. But then again, I am a filmmaker, so I kind of try to find the inspiration in things, and that's one where I definitely was feeling it kind of had that Pee-wee thing going on. Like I said, in the gameplay department, that's where this game really does excel. As far as the humor is concerned, I totally get it, I can watch it and enjoy it, but maybe it's not 100% exactly what I gravitate towards when I'm watching stuff on YouTube, and that's totally fine. I still get a laugh out of it here and there, but the actual gameplay, that's what I'm going to be sticking around for, because I played this game maybe for like 2 hours, capturing this footage for the review, and just kind of playing around with it, and every single minute of that actual gameplay experience I was just having fun. And that's what really matters in a game like this, because trust me, at least in my opinion, a licensed game even on a YouTube channel could absolutely just go south quickly. They could basically play up the humor and forget to put the gameplay in, and this game over a screen definitely is not pulling any punches as to what it thinks about you not being able to beat the game. But a soundtrack sample 2 time, 35 seconds, and I'll be right back with some more. Again, big Mega Man vibes there, and it does work, but you do get some Castlevania 2 in here as well, but thankfully none of the ridiculous puzzles that don't make any sense to solve, because back in the day, I tried to play Castlevania 2 so many different times and just got stuck until basically walkthroughs became a thing. But the fun part about this is twofold. One, it is a super fun 8-bit action platformer with some insane difficulty like you got back in the day, and two, it really does show that these things can be pulled off, because when I say there was probably a dozen different ways for this game to go wrong, I mean it. I don't mean that in a negative way. When you're making a video game based on a YouTube channel, you have to make sure that you actually include a really good game in there, because you're not just trying to do fan service because you want other people to buy this thing. The developers here have done an excellent job, and I love the fact that someone like James Rolfe can just basically make a character on YouTube a lot of years ago at this point in time and make a whole career out of it and be successful. That's just something I love to see people succeed doing exactly what it is they want, even if it is some of the most absurd shit out there. better. So that makes me happy in the second category, which is to say, I love that this can exist and I love that it can be good at the same time. But we are done. The game's out on October 23rd. Check it out if you want. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.